Hello students, welcome again. Students, in today's lecture we want to discuss this term Hellenism in English literature. We will discuss the meaning of Hellenism, the period of Hellenism and Hellenism found in John Keats' poetry. Okay, so let's begin. The first question is, who coined this term? Then the answer is J. G. Drawson. Drawson was a great historian during the 19th century who has coined this term Hellenism in literature. Actually, this word comes from a Greek word called Hellenikos, Hellenikos. Hellenikos, okay, was a Greek word which means something related to Greek life, Greek art and culture. Okay, so what is Hellenism? You understand now. So let me tell you that Hellenism in literature means when an author, when a poet is devoted to the ancient Greek life and culture, his literature becomes Hellenistic literature. When he tries to imitate the ancient Greek art, Greek customs, Greek philosophy, and he presents these Greek influences in his literature becomes Hellenistic literature or the literature of Hellenism. Now the question is, what is this Hellenistic period in the ancient Greek history? Then remember this name, Alexander the Great. The death of Alexander the Great in 323 BC, okay, period starting from that date onwards, and the rise of Roman Empire in 30th BC. So this period of about 300 years, 323 BC to 30 BC. Okay, this period in the ancient Greek history is called the period of Hellenism. During that period, there was a revival of art, culture, learning. There was a revival of religion. Okay, so that new spirit in Greek life, in Greek customs, which we find many poets and authors of English literature were much influenced by that period, by that ancient Greek art and culture, and they started writing literature in that influence. That is called Hellenistic literature in English language. Okay, now if you examine the history of English literature during the 18th century, it was a period of neoclassicism, the age of Alexander Pope, the age of Dr. Samuel Johnson. Okay, this 18th century was dull and drab. It was the age of prose literature. But if you come to the period of Romantic revival, that means 1798 to 1830, this small period of 32 years, which is also termed as the period of Romanticism, okay, during this period you find Hellenistic literature, particularly in the poets like John Keats, William Wordsworth, P.B. Shelley, Lord Byron, and Swinburne, and so many others, where you find the influence of ancient Greek art and culture. But among all these poets, it was John Keats who is considered by the critics unanimously as the master lover of Hellenism. Because John Keats in his personal life was much influenced by the ancient Greek poets like Homer and Virgil. In fact, John Keats has translated Aeneid written by Virgil. He has also read Homer's epic Iliad, and he was thrilled by the beauty, by the imagery presented by Homer in that epic. And that was the reason why when John Keats writes his poetry like Ode to a Grecian Urn, like Hyperion, like Endymion, all published in 1820, in all his poetry, in all John Keats' poetry, you find ancient Greek mythology, you find ancient Greek imagery, ancient scenes of Greece, and that's the reason why John Keats' poetry is considered as Hellenistic poetry. John Keats' love for ancient Greek life is actually a kind of escape from the harsh realities of his own times, right? John Keats was not much satisfied or happy with his own times, and that's why, with his power of imagination, he traveled back into the ancient Hellenistic period. Which is the Hellenistic period? 323 BC to 30 BC. Okay, so he goes back to that period and he presents those sceneries of Greek life and Greek culture in his poetry, and that's why most of the critics believe that John Keats was a Greek in mind and spirit, and most scholars believe that John Keats' poetry was Hellenistic poetry. So, I hope this is helpful to you. Here we come to the end. Please do share this video among your friends and classmates so that other students also can be benefited. Thank you for watching. Thank you.